Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. School-based feeding program ating pagtibayin. Wastong pagkain ating ihahain, mga batang kulang sa timbang. Ating pakakainin ng Go, Grow, and Glow. Adolescent reproductive health ay gawing gabay at patnubay ng batang mausisa ay di maranasan. Ang early pregnancy ay maiiwasan. Kalusugan ay mahalaga sa edukasyon ng mga bata. Tayo na't magkaisa, halina tayo'y sumama. Tara na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. National Drug Education Program or NFP kung tawagin. Ito'y paigtingin mga bisyo'y alisin. Sigarilyo at droga'y dapat nang puksain. Water sanitation and hygiene in schools ating kompletuhin, 3 stars ay abutin. Malinis na tubig, segregated na toilet, group hand washing at may napkin na rin. Kalusugan ay mahalaga sa edukasyon ng mga bata. Tayo na't magkaisa, halina tayo'y sumama. Tara na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Medical, dental, and nursing services na atin ding binibigay upang matugunan problemang pangkalusugan ng mga guro at kabataan. Kalusugan ay mahalaga sa edukasyon ng mga bata. Tayo na't magkaisa, halina tayo'y sumama. Tara na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Tara na okay. Oplan kalusugan sa DepEd. Halina't alamin atin ang tuklasin, mga health programs ating palaganapin. Okay talaga sa DepEd. Okay talaga sa DepEd.
Good morning and welcome, districts of Cagayan 1, Cagayan 2, and Hinubaan. Today, we will have the orientation in preparation of school-based feeding program, nutritious food pack, and school-based feeding program, meal component. To start, let us put ourselves in the holy presence of our Lord.
So, good morning everyone. Welcome to our virtual orientation on the school-based feeding program operational guidelines for school year 2020-2021. So, the rationale behind this orientation or program in view of the changes brought about by the pandemic as to how learning will be delivered for school year 2020-2021, the implementation of the school-based feeding program shall be modified, putting utmost importance to the welfare, safety, and health of the learners and personnel involved, while also ensuring the attainment of the program objectives. The SBFP shall be implemented in line with the BELCP or the Bureau of Education Learning Continuity Plan and in strict compliance with DepEd's required health standards. So the objectives of this program through the years, the SBFP has been implemented to number 1, address hunger and encourage learners to enroll. Number 2, contribute to the improvement of their nutritional status. Number 3, provide nourishment for their growth and development and help boost their immune system. At number 4, enhance and improve their health and nutrition values. So, ang objectives naton, number 1 gid is to address hunger sa mga aton na mga learners para ma-encourage sila nga mag-eskwela every day. And also, to enhance or improve their nutritional status from severely wasted to normal nutritional status. So, the legal basis of this implementation has been guided by number 1, DepEd Order number 039, series of 2017 or the operational guidelines on the implementation of school-based feeding program for school years 2017 to 2022 and by the supplemental guidelines issued by DepEd for the fiscal years 2018 and 2019. Other legal basis is the DepEd Order number 036, series 2019, also known as Guidelines on the Implementation of a School-Based Feeding Program Milk Feeding Component to support the SBFP by providing fresh milk to the hot meals given to the beneficiaries under the regular component of the feeding program. The DepEd Order number 23, series 2020 is also one of the legal bases of this program. DepEd Order number 2022, DepEd Order number 22, series 2020 are the additional provisions and amendments to DepEd Order number 36, series 2019 is also one of our legal bases. RA 11037, also known as Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act, is also one of our legal bases. So, the implementation of the school year 2020-2021 school-based feeding program shall have two components, namely, the regular component and the milk component. So, the regular component, example of this is the nutritious food products and the ration for at least 60 feeding days, while the milk component, like the fresh or sterilized milk, it is given to the learners for 50 feeding days. For our policy statement, changes in the implementation amid COVID-19. So for the recipient schools and target beneficiaries, So, target beneficiaries change from wasted and severely wasted kinder to grade 6 learners to all incoming kindergarten learners. We have 21,633, and the grade 1 to grade 6 learners, we have 33,944, which has a total of 55,577 learners who were wasted and severely wasted based on the school year 2019-2020 SBFP report, except those who have moved to grade 7. So, for the recipient schools and target beneficiaries, in case of excess funds, the stunted learners identified as such in the 2019-2020 SBFP implementation, the pupils at risk of dropping out are the PARDOS, the indigenous people or the IPs learners, and those coming from indigent families shall be considered as secondary beneficiaries. So, kung ang may excess pa ang funds makuha ta sa aton nga mga secondary beneficiaries, which are the PARDOS, the IPs, nga mga learners naton. Next, type of feeding commodity. So, change from provision of usual hot meals to ration of nutritious food products. So, what is nutritious snacks? So, it is any combination of readily available, easy to prepare, and ready to eat foods that are high in vitamins and minerals. Example of these are the fortified or enriched bread and pastries, root crops, and fruits in season. So, ang nutritious snacks nato muna siya ang available na ready to eat, easy to prepare, or no need na nga i-prepare sa aton mga ginikanan or aton nga mga learners ready to eat na. So, ang nagakompose ni sa aton nutritious snacks, may arata nga fortified or enriched bread and pastries, aton nga root crops, ang mga kamote, balinghoy, or fruits in season. Kung kung bugana, or in season ang saging, so pwede ta siya ma-include sa aton nutritious snacks. So, let's move on the mode of delivery. So, mode of delivery change from school-based administration of the actual feeding to delivery to household. So, sa una, ang mode of delivery or ang mode sa pagpakaon sa aton nga ang pag-implement sa aton SBFP is sa school nagakaon ang mga bata. Hindi pa di madala sa balay or hindi pa di bitbiton sa mga bata pagwa sa school, daragid mismo sa school. But because of this pandemic, wala na talaga encourage na mag face-to-face. So, ang administration sa aton nga SBFP or nutritious food products, pareho naman sa aton nga administer sang module sa aton nga lesson. May ara na ta nga modular or ginadulong or dito na lang gina-answeran ang mga lesson sa balay. So, same sa aton nga SBFP, ang pagkaon nga na-prepare na ang aton nutritious food box, i-deliver na lang sa balay sa aton learner. So, next, number of feeding days. So, number of feeding days adjusted based on the remaining number of school days for fiscal year 2020. So, na-determine na-adjust na ang aton number of feeding days. Next is the possible consideration on the provision of hot meals as a modality may be subject of a supplemental guidelines. So, may mga guidelines sa pag-implement sa aton nga SBFP. Next is the duration. Ordinarily, a feeding period of 120 days is ideal to achieve a significant impact on the nutritional status of children. But because due to the changes in the school calendar and in consideration of the possible lapse of the funds by year end, the feeding period for school year 2020-2021 is reduced to 60 days. So, sa ato, 60 days aton regular component or the nutritious food products but with additional 3 days na sa iban nga mga schools. Kag sa ato naman yung milk component, may arata nga 50 feeding days. Ang milk component mo ng aton nga fresh or sterilized or powdered milk. Nan, muna siya ang aton nga duration sa aton feeding. 60 para sa aton regular or nutritious food products, kag 50 para sa aton nga milk component. So, let's proceed. A dry ration of nutritious foods. So, may ara mga implementing units and key partners sa may ara na sila mga corresponding roles and responsibilities. So, ang aton nga number 1, implementing units or key partner is the Bureau of Learner Support Services School Health Division. So, may ara silang role nga mag-develop sa policy and operations framework for the implementation of the program and prepare the annual physical and financial targets for approval by the national government. And next implementing unit is the regional offices. So sila naman na iya ang nag-provide guidance and technical assistance to its school division offices. Kaya naga-orient about sa guidelines, kaya naga-facilitate sa download sa funds. Diri naman sa ating schools division offices, ang obra naman or ang role naman nila is to coordinate and directly deal with school implementers and provide orientation on the issued guidelines to implementing schools. So, sila nag-coordinate sa ating mga implementers or sa inyo sa school level. Mag-orient or mag-provide sa guidelines sa pag-implement. Sila man na ang mag-provide sa technical assistance, mag-visit sa school for actual monitoring and ensure timely liquidation of funds. Kamu naman niya sa school level, kamu ang maga-implementar sa aton na program kag mag-utilize sa funds. Subong nang hindi na ta mag-prepare sa work and financial plan kay ang aton nga nutritious food pack sa lina sa division. So no need na ang hindi na ta kinalangan mag-prepare kay na-prepare na sa taga division. Next, governance structure for SBFP milk. So, ang aton nga naman sa governance is the school health division, sa schools division offices, NDA and PPC, kag ang aton nga dairy farms and dairy cooperative. So, ang aton nga school health division, sila na ang mag-develop ng policy and operations framework for the implementation and shall take the lead to secure the involvement and cooperation of partners and stakeholders. To partner with NDA and PCC and other government agencies as many necessary or relevant. So, sila na ang nag-take sang partnership para sa aton nga mga suppliers, sa aton nga mga milk and nutritious food packs. Sa aton schools division offices, sila na nag-coordinate and directly deal with the relevant field offices of the NDA, PCC, or any relevant NGA, as well as the dairy farms and pork cooperatives. Put call of POS, quality assurance, supervision, monitoring, and evaluation, payment, and accounting. So, sila na to ang maanusang quality assurance sa aton mga food products or milk na i-distribute para sa inyo sa school level. Sila man na ang responsible para mag-monitor ka mag-evaluate sang payment in accordance sa accounting process ta. Sa ato naman nga key partners which are the NDA and PCC, they are the one who collaborate with DepEd through the BLSS, SHT, market scoping and the sourcing, procurement and delivery of fresh milk and fresh milk-based products, and responsible in providing fresh milk and fresh milk-based with services. So, sila na ang mag-provide sa aton kag mag-deliver sa aton sa ilang nga fresh milk nga or fresh milk-based products. And the dairy farms and dairy cooperatives, they are the one to supply and deliver fresh milk and fresh milk-based products required by DepEd. So sila na, kay si DepEd or ang ating schools division ang mag quality assure sang aton nga ihatag sa aton nga learner. So ang dairy farms and dairy cooperatives, sila na mag-supply sa aton, kag sila na ang responsible mag-provide sang fresh milk and fresh milk-based products with services nami nga pag-process salin sa ilang nga factory, pag-package kag paasta sa pag-deliver di sa aton sa schools. Next, for the source sa SBFP fund fiscal year 2020 sa ato nutritious food product may arata 60 feeding days. Sa 60 feeding days may ara each learner is allocated with 20 pesos budget. Sa 20 pesos gintunga na siya 18 pesos para sa ato nutritious food products and 2 pesos para sa operational expense. Later on, i-discuss na kung ano na daang nabilong sa aton nutritious food product and sa aton operational expense. For the milk product, niara kita 50 feeding days kag each learner or child is allocated with 18 pesos. Sa 18 pesos nga ina, niara ta 200 ml pouch sang milk or 1 liter bottle sang fresh milk. So, amo na siya. Bali, duwagin na siya ang ihatag sa aton na learner. So, for the nutritious food products, may ara na tatlo ka nabilong nga nutritious food products. Amo na siya ang fortified or enriched breads, root crops or fruits in season, and vegetables. Ang number 3, may ara ta fortified blended food and nutri-packs. So, ano ang mga nabilong sa fortified or enriched bread? So, may ara ta nga sample or nutritional content. Amo na siya. Ang example na is ang aton enhanced Nutriband. May ara na siya ng corresponding nga ang nutritional content. So, ang preparation of food for take home or rationing. No preparation needed. So, for take home, ipadala sa mga bata or sa aton learners, sa aton beneficiary, no need na nga i-prepare pa kay nakapack na ready to eat na si beneficiary ta. Next, for the root crops, fruits in season or vegetables. So, example of that is kamote, 100 grams. So, ang kamote nga 100 grams, may equivalent mo na nga nutritional value. So, ang preparation of food na to be cooked or prepared at home. So, ang kamote ihatag na lang sa ila para ang nanay na to magtanok. Amo na siya. For the fortified blended food and nutri-packs, ang ato na example is the champurrado 50 grams. So, ang champurrado may equivalent naman ng nutritional values. Kaya ang pag-prepare sina is to be cooked at home. So, like, example, may ara na dadaan nga i-mixa na lang sa mga ininit ipastay na tayo do ka-instant or sila na mismo ang mag-prepare na sa balay. Kay kung ihatag na basi maglaway na napag-abot sa aton nga mga beneficiary. So, easy to prepare na lang sa balay and ready to eat na aton mga nutritious food packs. So, to proceed for the operational expense naton, which is 2 pesos per child, operational expenses downloaded to each school shall be used for the following purposes. So, sang una, sa aton, sa school patagapakaon sa mga aton nga beneficiaries, ang aton nga operational expense ginagamit naton sa pag-purchase sa mga basic cooking utensils, sa aton nga mga gamit sa pagpakaon sa mga bata, sa aton nga mga kahoy, sa aton nga cook, subong kay wala na ta luto, wala naman ta may gina-hire nga cook, ang aton nga 2 pesos or ang aton nga operational expense makadto na lang sa reasonable transportation expenses from schools to household. So, halin sa drop-off ta pakadto sa balay or sa school or sa drop-off point man to sa atong delivery sa household. Next is the payment of labor, services, honoraria of kitchen assistant and partners from barangay. Example, nutrition scholars, health workers, among others. So, pwede naton, pero daw sa pag-discuss natin, daw wala ni Mayo na nahambal ang payment of labor and services ini. So, to proceed, operational expenses downloaded to each school shall be used for the following purposes. So, sa nambal, tanasang una pa ni pwede. Galing kay wala naman sang luto, hindi na natin mabakal ang dishwashing. Yung mga dishwashing soap, LPG, charcoal, firewood, hindi ta na magamit kag wala naman ta health certificate for food handlers. So, expenses related to compliance with the required health standards such as use of washable face masks, face shields, alcohol, and sanitizers shall be charged against SBFP, PSF at the SDOs or the SBFP operational expenses downloaded to schools subject to the pertinent procurement, accounting, and auditing rules and regulation. So, depende pa na kung pwede na natin makuha ang face mask, face shield, alcohol, kay may ara naman ta na be available sa aton schools MOOE natin pa na. So, depende pa na kung ipa-charge sa aton. Procurement shall be in accordance with the provisions of RA 9184 and its IRR, which can either be through public bidding or through any of the alternative methods as may be applicable. So, ang tanan nga procurement, paagigid naton sa bidding, public bidding. Next, for the financial requirements, Program Support Funds or PSF, Central Office, Regional Offices, and SDO shall be used for orientation activities, monitoring activities, communication expenses, replication of forms, augmentation of program funds for NFP and milk, payment of 2% administrative costs or service fee of NDA and or PCC offices, transportation expenses in distributing the milk from drop-off points to schools and schools to home of learners. So, sa school level naton amo ni ang applicable sa aton ang transportation expenses in distributing the milk from drop-off points to schools and schools to homes of learners. Next, the SDO may use the SBFP PSF allocate to in the augmentation of school operational funds for transportation expenses and payments of honoraria to partners, and procurement of coolers, freezers, or refrigerators for the schools or designated drop-off points. So, na-discuss na isang last to kay Miss Katri sa meal, may ara sila i-provide nga freezers or coolers para sa atong mga drop-off nga or designated drop-off nga schools. So, for the delivery, inspection, and acceptance, so for the nutritious food products, the mode, schedule, and other specification of delivery shall be determined by the SDO. So, if SDO is the procuring entity, school, TWG, if the school is the procuring entity. So, sa aton nga case, ang aton procuring entity is the SDO. In accordance with SDO, focal person depending on the procurement modality adopted by the implementing unit. So, sa aton nga schedule, may arta sa central area, ang aton nga target is January 2021. Sa north and south area, may arta target date March or April 2021. The inspection team shall do a random inspection every delivery as to its quantity and quality, including the date of manufacturing and expiration. So, may ara ta sa school drop-off point nga inspection team. So, drop-off point principal, district nutrition coordinator, and district property custodian, school level receive principal, school nutrition coordinator, and school property custodian. Sila na ang nabilong sa inspection team. They are responsible in inspecting kung tama or tsakto gid ang pag-deliver. Pila ka bilog kung 10 ang gin-deliver, 10 man na-inspect nila, kag i-accept nila, okay pa bala ni? Okay ni bala ang quality? Hindi panos? Okay pa ang sabor? Amo na siya. Number 3, the inspection team has the authority to decide whether to accept or not the goods delivered if not in accordance with the technical specification provided. So, sila ang ma-decide kung i-accept nila ang gin-deliver nga product. Like example, kung hindi sila namian or para sa ila, hindi ni okay ang gin-deliver, so sila na ang bahala mag-accept or not sang gin-deliver. Kasi sila ang sukton if ever maglain ang ilang gin-receive. Kung malain ilang gin-receive, sila ang responsible kasi sila na nag-inspect nga gin-receive mo ni pag-inspect mo gali hindi man nami or hindi man gali with accordance sa specification. Next, number 4, upon delivery, the inspection team shall inspect the goods and ensure that they are in good quality. At least 2 members of the school inspection team shall sign the inspection and acceptance report as proof that they have received the specified quantity and quality of NFP, while the authorized consignee shall sign the acceptance portion of the IAR. So, ang aton nga mga school head kag property custodian is familiar na sa ginatawag natin nga inspection and acceptance report. So, si ang nag-inspect kag ang mag-accept sining product nga gin-deliver sa atin sa school na nila inspect nila kung okay na, tapos kung okay na i-accept na nila kag i-sign na nila ang IAR as proof nga na-receive nila kag okay ang quantity kag quality sang deliver sa aton. Kag ang manug-deliver, ang consignee, ma-sign manada sa acceptance portion. So, number 5, The SIT shall do random inspection of NFP every delivery as to the quantity and quality of food. All food packs to be delivered must be sealed, fresh, dry, and free from molds. Some signs of spoilage are as follows: bad or sour odor, moist, and presence of mold. So, sa aton nutritious food packs, especially sa aton enriched or fortified breads and pastries, dapat inspection mayo sa aton nga inspection team kung okay ang kung tsakto bala ang quantity, kung nami bala ang quality sang food, hindi panos, nasirado may wala opening, wala molds or hindi basa. Okay? Ang baho, sour odor, moist or may molds, amunan ang mga signs sang spoilage or panos na nga nutritious food products. Next, the SIT shall reject NFP packs that are unclean, with open pack, and spoiled, subject to replacement by the supplier. So, ang school inspectorate team i-reject o hindi nila dapat pag-i-accept kung may opening ang pack or laway ang baho. Kung may mga sign of spoilage, dapat hindi nila pag-i-accept, i-reject na dayon. Kung higko ang packaging or may mga ano-ano, kung in doubt, hindi na lang pag-i-accept, paisla na lang. Next, sa food packaging and distribution. Nutritious food products to be distributed to the homes of the learners shall be hygienically packed and environment-friendly bags. So, the use of plastic bags is discouraged. Parents who will pick up the food products can also bring their own reusable bags. So, sa pag-deliver sa balay, sa aton nga mga learners or beneficiary, dapat environmentally friendly ang pagpack sang bag. Kita nyo na ang mga eco bag or mga bag na balang ginasudlan na sa mga hot meals pwede na sa mga lunch bags na bala pwede magamit sang mga parents para mag-pick up sang food sang mga beneficiaries nila or sang bata nila para kay gina-avoid natin ang paggamit sa mga plastic bags kay maka-add na sang basura sa aton nga lugar. So, encourage natin ang mga nanay kitamo na nasubong sa mga eco bags or thermal bags or lunch bags para amula na ila gamiton kada pick up man. Kagin sure taman or ipabalun taman ang nanay nga dapat ang aton nga mga bags or lunch bags tinlo man para isudlan sang pagkaon sa mga bata nila. So, number 2, let's proceed. During the repacking of nutritious food products, personnel must adhere to food safety standards and the required health standards such as hand washing before handling food products, wearing of mask, gloves, face shields, and practice of physical distancing. So, sa pag-distribute, sa repack sa aton mga food products, dapat ang mga personnel ma-adhere sa food safety standards. The most important git ang paghugas ng kamot before handling. Ma-wear sang mask, kung may gloves, mas mayo kag mag-face shield kag mag-observe sang physical distancing. Kag ipabalon man ang mga parents nga amo na dapat ang ila nga kag dapat ma-practice man sila sang physical distancing, mag-wear mask kag face shield sa pagkuha sang food pack naton or nutritious food products naton sa aton nga drop off. Next, even if nutritious food products and milk are to be consumed at home, it is important to communicate to the parents that the beneficiaries shall be the ones to consume the food and milk. So, miski sa balay, may ara, gitagyapon monitoring sa mga beneficiaries ta. So, ang number 1 natin may himuon, ensure natin nga may contact kita sa parents. So, ating beneficiaries to monitor nga gin-consume gid nila ang mga pagkaon kag ang gatas nga gin-provide sa ila. Next, school shall document the receipt of food items by parents for all deliveries made. All receiving documents shall be forwarded to SDOs at the end of feeding cycle for accounting and recording purposes. So, ang school dapat i-document man nila nga na-receive ng food. Kaya wala na ta ng daily attendance. Unlike sa una nga naga-face-to-face ta, ma-check ta ang bata nga na gid nila, na baton gid nila, nakaon gid nila ang pagkaon sa school. So, bong, isi to it ay gid nga ma-receive sa parents ang aton mga food pack and milk nga para sa aton beneficiaries. Kay kinahanglan na naton sa pag-end na sa feeding days naton for liquidation and recording purposes. Next, precautionary measures for NFP. So, food safety standards in accordance with DO 52 Series 2008 or compliance with DepEd policies on food safety in schools. That should be strictly followed by the SBFP implementers at all times and advocated to the parents of the beneficiaries. So, siling ko nakagina, hindi lang ang mga teacher mag-follow sa food safety sa school. Dapat, pabalon gid, i-educate tagid ang nanay sa mga food safety standards man naton nga practice sa ating schools. So, pwede nila i-practice sa ilabalay kag sa pagkuha sang aton nga food products or nutritious food packs sa aton nga drop-off. So, educate tagid sila kung ano na sa, kung paano. So, next, availability of potable water and hand-washing facilities well-maintained, clean, well-ventilated, and pest-free environment. So, sa aton mga drop-off, lang taon taman, kung tinlo manada, may mga tubi para pwede sila maka-hand-washing. Kag, wala sang mga nagalagalagaw nga mga peste or mga ilaga, mga amonabi. So, lang taon taman nga tinlo man ang aton drop-off, especially sa aton nga drop-off sa school. Pag sa aton nga drop-off man para kung dara na bi ang drop-off naton na magwa ang mga parents, in short, tagid nga clean man kag kung may available nga washing facilities, mas nami. Para anti sila magkuha sang pagkaon, ma-hand wash sila anay. So, next, proper selection of food and ensuring freshness and good quality. So, ang inspectorate team na natin ang mag-check sang quality sang food nga i-deliver sa aton. So, next, storing of dry goods in dry storage area and of perishable foods in cold storage area. So, may ara ta mga storage na ipanghatag sa division sa school para sa aton nga milk. So, dapat kung lantaon taman kung pila dapat ang temperature sa pag-store sa aton nga milk. Hygienic practices in food preparation, serving, and storage. And ensuring non-food items are not in the kitchen area, or if cannot be avoided, it should be properly labeled and segregated from food items. Observing the expiry dates and of food commodities, first in and first out, policy shall be observed in withdrawing stocks from the storeroom. So, lantawon gid ang expiry date, kung saan una gin manufacture, kung saan una gin deliver. Dapat kung una na siya gin deliver, una man na siya out. Kung ulihin na siya, ti ulihin mo na siya pa out or panghatag. So, next, for the program monitoring and evaluation, submission of reports, SBFP forms may be accessed at https://bit.ly/sbfp_forms. Pero ang ating mga SBFP forms, na pang hatag ta or na pang forward na ang iban sa aton nga group chat. So, kung may ara pang wala nakakuha, i-communicate lang sa nurse in charge. So, for the SBFP Form 1, which is the master list of beneficiaries, shall be accomplished at the school level at the start of feeding. This is also available in the SBFP monitoring summary in Google Sheet for SDOs and schools. If the school has already filled up the online form, there is no need to submit hard copy of this report. SBFP Form 2 or the SBFP list of schools shall be accomplished by the SDO, SBFP focal person at the start of feeding. So, ang SDO, SBFP focal person na lang ni ang mag-comply sa Form 2. For the Form 3 or the SBFP summary and start or end of feeding shall be accomplished at the school level, at the start and at the end of the feeding. This is also available in the SBFP monitoring summary of SDOs and schools. For the terminal and narrative report, all school heads shall submit a terminal report to include the following. Number 1, program accomplishments. List of names of beneficiaries, findings of the monitoring activities. Number 3, issues encountered and actions taken. Number 4, procurement process. Number 5, good practices or lessons learned. And number 6, personnel involved, pictures before, during, and after the feeding activities and goods procured. So, sa terminal report, kabalo naman ka muna kag always ginahimo after feeding days naton sa pagsubmit sa report, include tagid ang mga accomplishments ang good practices naton sa paghatag sang or sa pag-implement sang feeding sa sini nga pandemic. Ano ang inyong good practices? Ang aton mga issues nga na-encountered, ano ang ginobra nyo sa issues nga na-encountered nyo, i-document nyo. Picturean gid ang parents nga nagkuha sang nutritious food packs. Picturean si ma'am nga nagahatag sang nutritious food pack sa parents, observing the health safety protocol. So, amo lang ang ating discussion regarding sa ating nga operational guidelines on nutritious food packs. So, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Nurse Kathay Gallego Machan of Pontevedra 1 for the orientation on the school-based feeding program operational guidelines for school year 2020-2021. And now let us proceed with school-based feeding program safety protocols amidst the pandemic to be given to us by Nurse Joy Marie Villanueva Arroyo of Pontevedra 2.
SBFT safety protocols amidst the pandemic aims to reduce vulnerability of all concerned, reduce transmission of COVID-19, and ensure safe delivery of milk food packs to beneficiaries. SBFP safety protocol amidst pandemic. As you can see in the picture, the food production or the factory will deliver to the drop-off points, and then from the drop-off points, the distribution to households or the beneficiaries. Food production or factory on-site inspection. Food business operator is compliant to implementing rules and regulations of Republic Act number 10611 or Food Safety Act of 2013. Food handlers wear appropriate protective clothing such as hairnet, cap, mouth guard, mask, apron, closed shoes, and gloves. Food handlers have an updated medical certificates, exclude ill, sick, infectious employees from the work area. Practicing good personal hygiene such as washing hands before and after handling of food, following the rules and the process flow in the workplace. Areas and food equipment are clean and in good condition. Equipment used comply to government and industry standards, free from hazards. Updated sanitary permit, safe and quality water supply, COC or the Certificate of Compliance, LTO or the license to operate. Delivery and receiving. From the drop-off point, strict enforcement of DepEd Order 014 Series 2020, guidelines and the required health standards in basic education offices and schools based on the DOH-AO number 2020/0015, guidelines and the risk-based public health standards for COVID-19 mitigation. Mandatory temperature check, foot bath, health check, declaration, and hand hygiene with 70% isopropyl ethyl alcohol shall be done upon entry to the school, pick up, drop off point premises. All schools are mandated to have an online school health declaration form that includes significant signs and symptoms such as cough, colds, fever, headache, diarrhea, sore throat, loss of taste, and loss of smell. Data for contact tracing and other pertinent personal data needed to be filled up by all delivery staff, teaching and non-teaching consignees, inspectors, and volunteers. The online school health declaration form decreases the possibility of contracting the virus by discouraging the use of paper and shared writing materials. For school without efficient internet connection, a printed health declaration form may be used, but sharing of writing materials such as ball pens and pencils is highly discouraged. All delivery staff, teaching and non-teaching consignees, inspectors, and volunteers shall answer the online health declaration form a day before the scheduled pickup and delivery. Failure to do so and those with significant signs and symptoms of COVID-19 means that they won't be allowed in the drop-off points or school premises for that day. In barangay pickup points, it is suggested that printed health declaration includes signs and symptoms such as cough, colds, fever, headache, diarrhea, sore throat, loss of taste, loss of smell, data of contact tracing, and other pertinent personal data needed or required to be accomplished by all participants present in the venue or area. From drop-off point and school, all delivery staff, teaching and non-teaching consignees, inspectors, and volunteers who are scheduled to deliver and pick up food or milk and answer sheets shall wear face masks and face shields at all times while at the drop-offs or pick-up areas. Physical distancing of at least 2 meters shall be enforced at all times to ensure reduction of possible transmission of infection. Proper scheduling shall be observed by all drop-off point coordinators to prevent crowding at the distribution areas. It is advised that only 5 persons are allowed per pickup point area for every 10 minutes. All delivery staff, teaching and non-teaching consignees, inspectors, and volunteers are required to wash hands with soap or disinfect hands using 70% of isopropyl ethyl alcohol before and after touching the meal or food packs. Directional flow of people inside the schools or drop-off point facilities should be strictly observed at all times. Entrance only and exit only doors and gates shall be established for this purpose. All school heads and drop-off point facility coordinators shall maintain records of the online health declaration and contact tracing data for future reference. School pickup by parents. Strict enforcement of DepEd Order 014 Series 2020 on the required health standards in basic education offices and schools based on the DOHAO number 2020-0015 guidelines on the risk-based public health standards for COVID-19 mitigation. Mandatory temperature check, foot bath, health check or declaration, and hand hygiene with 70% isopropyl ethyl alcohol shall be done entry to the school premises. All parents or guardians, volunteers, and teachers who are authorized and scheduled to pick up the milk, food packs shall wear face masks and face shields at all times while at the school premises. Proper scheduling shall be observed by all schools and SBFP milk coordinators to prevent crowding at the distribution areas. It is advised that only 5 persons are allowed per pickup point or area for every 10 minutes. All persons entering the school premise shall wear face masks and face shields. Schools shall provide a waiting and pickup area with proper ventilation for parents. Physical distancing of at 2 meters shall be observed at all times. Upon distribution to parents, the SBFP milk feeding coordinator or the volunteer shall disinfect their hands with 70% isopropyl ethyl alcohol solution before handing the packs of milk or food over to the recipient. Delivery to households. Observe the protocol for delivery of milk or food packs to households. All personnel authorized to deliver or distribute milk or food packs shall wear appropriate personal protective equipment such as follows: face mask, face shield, and disposable gloves. Disinfect hands using 70% isopropyl alcohol before and after handling the milk or food packs to any member of the households. Household representative or parents and guardian. After receiving the milk, food packs, the parent or the guardian shall disinfect his or her hands using 70% isopropyl ethyl alcohol solution. It is strongly advised that the milk or food be placed in a cold storage to keep it fresh until consumed. For no refrigerators at home, parents or guardians are encouraged to store milk pouches in insulated containers such as ice coolers or styro chests with ice packs. Store wrapped bread in a clean, dry, and cool shelves. Be sure to store fresh fruits and vegetables in a refrigerator or cooler at or below 4 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Fahrenheit within 2 hours of peeling or cutting. Always use clean containers to store washed or prepared vegetables and fruits. And remember to keep fresh produce away from any raw meat, poultry, or seafood when preparing or storing it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nurse Joy Marie Villanueva Arroyo of Pontevedra 2 for the discussion. And now let us proceed with our last speaker, our division milk feeding focal, Nurse Catrice Sabrini.
So wala man gid ko sa masyadong i-present sa inyo when in terms of the implementing guidelines because we already did had our orientation on that. But by this time, what should we prepare for the implementation comes January 12. So January 12 is the delivery date given by NDA, which our supplier is the Mercante Trading of Murcia. So their farm is located in Silay, but actually may ara man na sila area somewhere in Murcia, though since nagka-COVID, ang ilang mga cow have to be transferred to Silay. And they actually did invested much on this program. And sana, no? We had a talk last Friday and we could have a site visit sometimes before January 12 before we had our first delivery of fresh milk. But to tell you, hindi po lahat ay fresh milk. There will be area that will be given fresh and the other half, which was allocated supposedly by the PCC, will be taken care of with a powdered milk. So may mga changes kita along the way. So please bear with me kung ano ini siya. I will be presenting to you our breakdown. So ipipresent ko siya sa inyo so you would see kung ano nga mga area ang may ara sang powdered milk and ano nga area ang may fresh milk. So please check on this ha. Magtalang sang ating pag-implement. Nakikita nyo? Hello? Nakikita
Yes,
nyo ang...
miss.
Sige.
Yes, miss, pero gamay.
Alright, sige. Pero gamay. Ayan, sige ha. So this is our 2019. I-reiterate ko lang ha. 2019 funds. I will not be touching with the 2020 funds para hindi kita mag-samo-samo, okay? So we will start with the 2019 fund for the milk feeding program. So this will be in how do you call this one? 2 batches, which is the fresh and the powdered. So again, only the kinder, the severely wasted and wasted of grade 1 to 6 with SPED learners ang aton nga beneficiaries. Again, wala severely stunted and stunted. Okay? And if you are going to look into the numbers of kindergartens naton, they are not all kinder. Okay? As we have previously proposed na lahat ng kinder should be given, but then only the 2019 kindergarten ang aton tagaan. Okay? So these are the number of those grade 6 the last time nga naghimo siya nga kinder. Correct? Because ang kinder naton ay naghimo siya nga grade 1 na. So please look into these numbers. Kag ang total niyan dyan is actually the same number as you have of your previous SBFP beneficiaries. Wala ginada siya sang may naglain up to the very end, which our total is around 33,974 recipients. So if you're going to break that down per district, you'll be able to see that your numbers are all still the same with the 2019 beneficiaries. Okay? Ida-dry ko lang ha. Ibababa ko siya para makita natin at the very end. Ayan. Hindi na ako nagkaroon ng time to break it down. But anyway, in some of our datas here, naka-breakdown siya. Ayan. So, until from Binalbagan down to Victorias 2. So a total of 503 schools with a total number of 33,974. Okay? So ang SW natin is 8,554 and the wasted natin is 21,484 with a kinder of 3,936 with a total of 33,974. Our total budget for the milk feeding program of 2019 is 18,375,660. So if we are going to check on how as this data were given logistics, pakimurarat lang so this is our 2019 funds logistics. When we say logistics, these are our support funds for us to be able to implement our program in support for the needs of our schools. So, nag-propose kita some of the needs nga. Actually, we are very lucky, or I don't know if that's a coincidence or siguro itinadhana, sabi nilang ganon. Because when we had the powdered milk proposal, nagkaroon siya ng very lowest bidder. and we were able to have some savings, and those savings are gina-repropose pagid naton para magamit naton to a certain things na pwede pa naton siya nga mapuslan or magamit para sa pag-implement sang aton nga feeding. So, hindi lang ito siya para lang sa gatas na magagamit, but we also consider our nutritious food pa. If you're gonna look into this area, ayan, so our schools will be receiving coolers, okay? Yung coolers natin, nakita yun yung Orocan, the Orocan with that handle on the side and may wheels na siya. 45 liters na siya, and according to the supplier, nakakuha kita sa nami siya nga quality as kinahanglan ta sa durable gid nga coolers because we need to be using this not just only this year but on the next succeeding years pa. So which means each of the schools will be receiving one coolers, but there are some schools here that will be receiving more. But I want you to give me that number or give me that name sa mga school kung saan ninyo siya ihatag. Okay, this is a deal ha. Kasi we do not know kung which one ang mas may nangangailangan. Though the coolers is for everyone. But you can have at least may diri nga area or district na may sobra siya ng 2 or 3 just to meet up sa aton nga targeted number. Around 184, that's 503 coolers was proposed, and ang 503 schools lang natin, 583, okay? Around 1 million budget for that. So, lahat ng mga eskwelahan ay magkakaroon ng 45 liter na kalaking cooler. Hindi siya styro box ha. This is a cooler at an Orocan. So, bibigyan talaga natin yung mga nangangailangan, which means you need to identify sino ba yung pasusobrahan nyo or kuhaan. No, hindi. Dapat lahat meron, but may pasobraan ka muna isa. Okay? So, you'll be giving me that name of schools from your district kung sinong inyong idugangan. Then we also have our freezer. This is a 4 cubic feet freezer, a dual function. So pwede siyang maging chiller, pwede din siyang maging freezer. This is only 4 cubic feet. And sino ang tagaan? Ang tagaan natin first is ang drop-off area. Remember, we have 33 drop-off, 35, including the 2 from Kawayan and Hinubaan. We had 2 drop-off on those area, kay nag-request sila, kay medyo malayo yung area, and yung coolers natin, hindi siya makasuffice later kung masyadong malayo ang distance from the drop-off ng bawat schools. So, when in terms of the freezer, example, dito siya sa Binalbagan 1, we allotted 6. So, sino ba yung dapat na bigyan? Given is your drop-off school. And next, please strategize kung diin siya pwede ihatag, wherein kung ikaw mag-deliver sa school na ini, pwede siya makahapit to find or give ice. Remember, ginhimo tani siya, kay supposedly, this is for ice. But the thing is, hindi ta kabalo mag-liquidate sang ice. Okay? So, which means na, panungdumon ta, you talk with your district coordinators, kung sino ba na school ang dapat na tagaan para later on maka-help sila augment para matagaan sang ice ang mga neighboring niya na schools. Okay? So, kanya yung freezer, but she will be sharing the ice na himuon niya. Okay? Kaya kung kita ang mag-liquidate, maghatag kita money for the ice, for sure, mabudlayan kita and hindi kita later maka-make more if himuon lang din siya nga ice. Okay? So, please have a meeting with your district coordinators and with your school head, your PSDS, when in terms of distancing. Okay? Though diri may ari ni di siya sang distance in each of the schools from the district school, but then still mas kabalo ka mo kung diin pagid ang much better na school nga tagaan for this. Okay? Before I mapped it according to the numbers of beneficiaries. But then, through the experience of other divisions, they have said that yung freezer hindi siya masyadong nagagamit for storing and hindi rin siya masyadong gina-encourage much of our supplier kay ang aton niya ice or ang aton niya styro box is already frozen na nada siya ang ice, and when magbalhin kita, makita niyo siya the cold chain should never be broken, di ba? Ang cold chain. So if ever nga ibalik mo siya, natunaw, hindi na siya frozen ang aton nga milk, and then ginbutang mo siya sa freezer, most probably ang inner part na ginbutangan mo sang gatas is hindi siya mag-ice together sang other nga mga milk na imo ginbutang on the side. So kumbaga, it is still more pagid siya gihapon practical nga ang aton nga gatas will stay in the styro box pag hindi mo siya ginamit. Okay? Which means ya kung next day pa man siya gamiton, pwede lang na siya nga makastay sa styro box because ang shelf life niya is around 3 to 6 days actually daw. Okay? Basta hindi mo lang siya pag-abrihan. So we thought of having still the freezer because yung paghatag naton sa mga nanay later on for distribution, it is one of the consideration nga ganid man na ang aton mga nanay sa extra nga ice when they brought their milk to the household. Hindi man na siya lapitanay, right? Or kung ihatag man na siya or i-distribute man sa barangay, then most probably matravel man gihapon si nanay from the barangay hall going back to their house. So, kinahanglan niya gihapon sa ice. So, kabay pa, you will be able to identify this area which need gid nila pag maka-help gid para sa augmentation sang ice sa aton mga schools. No? Sana. Then, we also proposed for a non-woven sando eco bag. So nakita nyo na siya ang the usual na sando bag na ginagamit naton. Extra large na siya, and then gin-ask ko ang supplier to put a name on it na SBFP, NFP milk negros para ma-identify naton nga ginabit-bit sang nanay is from the feeding program of DepEd or from the schools. So, hindi lang siya panggatas, but para din sa lahat ng mga bata na may nutritious food packs. Okay? So, instead na sa gatas lang gamitin, pwede din siyang gamitin para sa nutritious food pack natin. So, lahat yan, isa-isa na mga bata ay may ara. So, which means itatali nyo lahat yan kung sino ang tagaan. Okay? Then, we also propose for the storage box. This is a 50-liter. Nakita mo yung mga white boxes natin diri sa office na amo na siya kadako. So this is going to be used for storing of the powdered milk and at the same time for use of the nutritious food pack during the distribution. Okay? So hindi lang again panggatas but still pang nutritious food pack din. Okay? So intended for school is around 3. Kasi yung ating mga nutritious food pack is nakaka-categorize. Meron tayong fruits, meron tayong pastries, and some are freshly baked bread. So, tingnan natin kung paano ba natin siya i-maximize ang paggamit. But then, yung ating mga powdered milk, doon sa hindi pa natin madi-dispose, then it can be used for storage. Dapat clean talaga ang aton niya storage for the milk. Kung hindi pa bala makuha sa nanay or may sobra pa but we are not actually encouraging na mag-store kita sang aton nga powdered milk because we wanted it to be given one time. Okay? Yung fresh milk natin will be given in different days. Salot-salot ni siya. May ara kita Monday and Wednesdays. And we also have Tuesdays and Thursdays na delivery. Okay? So, but with the powdered milk, we will be going to make sure that this will be given in a one time. So, sino ba yung mga area na yon na may ara sa powdered milk? So, we will know later on. Next, we will also be having a purified drinking water, a 500 ml, which will be used for mixing our milk powdered. But kung tanawon mo siya, hindi siya makasuffice for other schools na may ara from 22 to 30 days na milk packs. So, ibig sabihin, this is just an augmentation lang just to make sure na marunong si nanay mag-calculate ng iya tubig kada powdered pack. So, ang isa ka pack is equal to 240 ml of water. So, ang 500 ml natin, duha niya lang ka paggamit. So, at least may ara lang din siya nga pangpauna para makita niya kung paano timpla sang gatas. So, tungkon niya ang 500 ml para at least makita niya, matansyar niya kung ano kadamo ang isa ka baso na tubig para sa isa ka pack na powdered milk. Okay? So, this thing is medyo tricky siya ha. Basi bala, paano ba naton ma-educate ang mga nanay? Paano magtimpla? Pagbase ang tubig nila is hindi siya clean enough. So, a little bit of education para sa aton mga ginikanan for those who will be receiving the powdered milk. Okay? Then, we will be also giving isopropyl alcohol, 70%, 60 ml lang siya, and hindi lahat. Okay, again, hindi siya lahat. We only have around 23,000 of this, but our recipient is 33,000. So, naka-breakdown siya lahat in here. I will be giving this copy to you, and then you will be you're gonna give back to me yung mga naka-highlight nyo na kung tagpila, pag saliin na siya nga school ma-distribute. Okay? Then, if you're going to look on the very left side, ito naman yung tinatawag natin na hauling cost, the distribution cost, and the fare para sa mga manugkuha kag mag-distribute sa aton nga fresh milk or even the powdered milk for 2019. So, if you're going to look into the hauling cost, this pertains to the travel expenses nga magasto ni district property custodian, ng school property custodian going to the district office or to the central school as a drop-off, and he will be reimbursing this amount based on the fare matrix given by the finance section. So, may-ari kita later diri nga, I'm sure, discussion, bakit maliit, bakit malaki, or something like that, hindi siya enough. But then again, ito lang ang binigay na fare matrix na allowed by the COA according sa aton nga finance section. So, may ara man kita diri nga gin-multiply naton as to how many times will the custodian will be coming to and fro to get the gatas. And the hauling fee will cost naman na siya sa ina ba lang extra naton nga bayad kung magsakay sa series or magsakay kita sa habal-habal. Hindi lang siya plete but also plete man sang ina na commodity. So, depende siya later on kung ano ka bukat. According sa supplier, it's almost around 20 to 28 kilos ang aton nga styro box. So, amo na siyang aton nga i-imagine if tagpila ka boxes may ara ang isa ka school. So, remember that the per box is counted for number of feeding days. Okay? And we also have our distribution cost, which is from the school naman ni siya going to the household. So, depende din siya later on if ang mga teachers will be going to some barangays, they will be using this amount para maka-help man augment sa ila nga fare expenses. So, each of the kids will be actually computed as 1 peso para at least kung ang teacher will be traveling from the school going to the barangay to distribute this milk packs. Siyempre, may hauling man na siya nga bayaran. So, this cost hopefully could help out naman sa iya. Okay? So, there will be a total of the hauling cost from the drop-off and the hauling cost for the distribution of hauling cost plus the distribution from the school to the household. So, eto yung ibibigay natin sa school after you had filled in kung sino at alin and ilan ang ihatag naton sa kada school. Okay? So, kung makita ta diri, kompleto naman na siya. And hopefully, hindi maguba ang aton nga, nga Excel. But most probably, if you will be sending back your report, na lang siya, ang inyo na lang nga district, ang inyo nga i-submit. Okay? And then, yung mga numbers na lang na needed naton. So, yung mga logistics na lang natin from our, what we call this one? From the styro box, from the coolers down to your alcohol. Okay? So, kamo na siya mag-try nga mag-decipher as to diin kag pila ang ihatag ninyo sa inyo nga beneficiaries. Okay? So, ayan. I-run through ko lang ha para makita natin nga. Ayan. Sige. So, there are total in here. So, 583 is the total of our cooler. Then, 184 is for our, ay, bila ako nawala. 184 for our freezer and 33,974 for our eco bag, 1,509 to our how do you call that one? That mega box. Then we have our 66,659,000 for our purified water, and then 23,120 for the isopropyl alcohol. To inform everyone, the 583 coolers natin is already available na ni siya sa aton nga stock room. Hindi aton, but nandoon siya sa NOHS. Okay? So, we will try to have all of this item ready before the 11th. So, we already have talked with the supplier na sana all of these things ay ma-ready na siya para later on with all of this is pwede na kuhaon. Then, the school will have a one-time lang bala na pagkadto diri kag magkuha sang ilaman niya items para magamit na naton by the 12th. No? So, please have all this data on the first week of January or the earliest that you can para mapahatag ta na sa ila amat-amat because we need to be preparing our RIS for this. So lahat ng mga items na to should have an RIS for those who will be receiving this per school. Okay, per school lang siya. And then doon na sa mga bata, for those who will be receiving that, sa mga parents nila, then we will have our own listing of those who have received it and kung kagtag pila. Okay? Nabulol ta. Okay. Are you still with me? Ara pa man? Klaro lang sa inyo?
Yes.
Alright, sige. Thank you, Gid ha. So, kung makita ninyo on the cell here on E, amo na siya ang maka-guide sa inyo if you are fresh or powdered. So, may aral na da siya na butang na NDA to NDA, it means that your school or your district will be batch 2 of the NDA pasteurized milk. Okay? And yung sa iba, may ara dira siya nga powdered milk or powdered. So which means this is one time. Okay? Isang beses lang natin ibibigay ang gatas sa mga bata, but then the feeding would continue up to the 22 to 30th day bago tayo mag-start with our another fresh milk for 2020. Okay? So, powdered milk ang marireceive ninyo. And again, kung paano siya i-liquidate, still have the listing of all of those nga makuha sa ilang nga gatas. Okay? So again, there are batches for NDA. May 2, para na dao. If you can see sa aton nga screen, 2 NDA, 1 NDA. Actually, you will be identifying your area. If you are in the north, then you will be on the first batch. And you will be second batch if you are in the south. How are we supposed to finish this? No? We have a timeline with our supplier, and I will be showing you later on kung paano at ano ang inyong delivery schedule. So in here, in summary for our powdered milk, so we have, ayan, Calatrava 1, Calatrava 2, makikita natin dito ha, so nandito yung number of beneficiaries natin, ang target natin, yung number of feeding days. If you can see, no, hindi siya pare-pareho. We have a minimum of 22 and the others are 30 maximum. Ba't siya nagkaganon? Kasi ang aton nga kwarta, aton lang siya ginbaki-baki according sa amount intended for it. So supposedly, we only have 20 days feeding for the powdered milk, same with our fresh, but because medyo lesser ang price ng aton nga powdered milk compared to the fresh, and it depends also sa supplier. If you are going to check with our supplier of PCC, that is the Philippine Carabao Center, ang ilang gatas would cost us 20 pesos per pack, while the NDA would cost only 18 pesos. But since the PCC na allocation were not materialized for the fresh milk, so we were able to convert this into commercial milk. So amoy na siya nga kung pila ang na-intend for that area, dira ta lang siya ginbaki-baki para mapasulod ang exact amount intended per district. Okay? So, if there might be some questions later on, bakit hindi isinali lahat ng mga kindergarten sa milk feeding? Do you know why? Kasi, again, hindi po sapat ang supply ng gatas sa Negros yet. Okay? So, if we will be having all of the kindergarten as our beneficiary for our milk feeding program, hindi na siya kakayanin sa aton nga supplier. That's why it was trimmed down again doon lamang sa recipient of 2019 that we had reported as of SBFP 2019, December 28 pa actually yun, na nahatag sa ila. So doon mo lang na ang napreparahan. Okay? But then, in 2021, most probably, makakaya na nila because there were already some investments going on in the different suppliers. And since we have 2 identified supplier for Negros, kakayanin na, hopefully. Ayan. So, eto lang ang PCC ay nag-back out sila. Just the history, no? Para you know kung ano ang ginagyan naton para makakreate kita sa aton niya logistics and proposals for the milk feeding program. Since nga ang PCC were not able to catch up actually sa aton niya kadakuon. Supposedly, they will be supplying for all, for Negros, DepEd Negros for a total of 33,974. But then, hindi nila makaya. And half lang yung ila nga gin-commit. And the NDA actually did not committed until September na. So, abo na siya kagahol, abo na siya ka-pressure sometime, since nga we only have a couple of months to prepare everything for the implementation. So since na ang PCC had the first sana na commitment for Negros, but then they are very cautious when in terms of liquidation. Since nga kita on our end, hindi tagid malagas mag-obligate and ma-liquidate at the same time ang 2019 na milk fund for PCC. So what happened? Gin-withdraw sang PCC ang ilang commitment. So there's a lot of documents that we had to secure para lang gid makapush through kita sa commercial milk. Actually, the effort of preparing for the powdered milk is twice, thrice as stressful kaysa sa fresh milk. Okay? Kung nagsugot lang sana both ang NDA and PCC, we agreed on our MOAs for this, sana hindi siya ganun kabudlay. But then, hindi natin hawak ang circumstances, ang situation. So, we adapted to it. So, yun ang mga area na supposedly ay hatagan sa PCC ng fresh milk will be converted into powdered milk. So, what are those districts? So, yun, yung Calatrava 1, Calatrava 2, then we also go down to Moises Padilla, Isabela, La Castellana. Ayaw niya nang bumaba. Naghang na. So, but anyway, those areas na under ng ating powdered milk is makikita nyo naman sa mapping natin. Okay? You will be guided on that as kung ano ang mabato ninyo for 2019. Okay? Ayan. For our delivery, ayaw niya na kasi mag-move. So, ayan. So, again, those areas na makakakuha ng powdered milk will be Moises Padilla, Tuboso, Calatrava 1, Calatrava 2, Don Salvador Benedicto, Murcia 1, Murcia 2, La Castellana 1, La Castellana 2, Isabela 1, Isabela 2, Ilog 1, and Ilog 2. So, the rest is fresh milk. Okay? So there will be 13 districts will be receiving powdered milk, and around how many ba to sila? 292 schools for the fresh milk from NDA. Okay? So kailan ba magsisimula ang aton nga feeding time? So ito yung ibinigay sa atin ng NDA. And hahanapin ko. And isa-send ko sa atong ha, para makita ninyo. Ayan. Ay lang kumalaw ng screen. So, we have Ibi Magalona, Victorious 1, Victorious 2, Manapla, and Talisay 1, who will be the first batch that supposedly we will be starting on January 11. But then production pa daw nila yan, so they will be starting on the 12th. That is January 12. So instead of a Monday, so ihahabol nila to, and they will also have a Wednesday. Pagdating naman sa, that is a Monday and Wednesday na, how do you call this one? Delivery. Then we have Talisay 2, Talisay 3, Pulo Pandan, San Enrique, Valladolid, Pontevedra 1, Pontevedra 2, every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay? Ibaki-bakion lang nila, and that is the batch 1. That will be finished around 2 weeks. 2 weeks will do because the 10-10, that's 20 days. Then after that, we will be going to the second batch, which composed of Binalbagan 1, Binalbagan 2, Hinigaran 1, Hinigaran 2, which will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the delivery. Then we have Kanduni, Kawayan 1, Kawayan 2, and Hinubaan on Mondays and Wednesdays. So again, for 2 weeks, that would all equal to 4 weeks to both batches. Okay? So, paki-check nyo lang ito But our supplier will be contacting you anytime soon. Okay? Kasi yung mga numbers ninyo, you are the focal of each of the district. Okay? So, sino ang contact person nila? Kayo po. So, I do hope yung numbers na ginhatag ninyo is functioning para at least anytime makatawag sila sa inyo kung ready na ba ang schools pag kung may ara man kita sa other concern. Okay? So, for Hinubaan and Kawayan 1, please do not forget atong mga area of school nga inyo nga cut for each of your drop-off area. Okay? So, na-miss man gani ito siya sa supplier, but then again, I reiterated that we have given two drop-off for those areas. So, be updated lang ha, basi malipat man kamo because we had already discussed kung ano yung ginhatag ninyo na number or number of schools in a certain drop-off area. Okay? Kawayan 1 and Hinubaan. So, I do hope hindi natin yan malipatan. Okay? And do you have any questions with regards to our mapping and to our logistics before I proceed with our preparatory activities? Ah,
Miss Kat,
yes. Go ahead.
si Free. Yes, Miss Kat.
Let's pray.
Sa binalbagan
Yes.
ni Miss Kat.
Mm-mm.
Yes, Miss Kat. Umangkot ko tani Miss Kat ng ano bala Miss Kat ng basihan nga ma-powder ng iban. Pares na sakon sa ano nga nag-fresh milk. Kuya na follow ko sa fresh milk kami sa binalbagan.
Oo. Sige, miss. Because so when we had the mapping before, ang national na siya, miss, together with NBA, ang naga mapping sa supply of milk. Okay?
Mm-mm.
So, December 2019, na-plastar na ni siya as to ano nga area ang may supply sang gatas and wala. And then, December comes January, nag-commit ang isa, ang NBA, nga amo lang ni siya ang iya nga kuhaon. Okay, sila na nagkuha, miss. And then,
Oo.
since nga hindi natin maubos or hindi nila ma-saturate tanan ang Negros, nangita again sa another supplier, which is the PCC, and the PCC also choose their areas wherein makasupply man sila gatas. So, ang pagbaki-baki actually sa area depended upon the availability of milk and the supplier's capacity to, how do you call this one? To supply the milk. Nagkataon lang gid siya nga nag-back out ang para sa PCC where ang other area hindi nila masuplayan. So wala kita choice kay hindi naman siya pagkuhaon sang NDA na ma-fresh. Hindi na siya ma-suplayan sang NDA. So kadamo gini siya sang pasikot-sikot nga pamaagi kung paano ni siya na-come up nga nag-powdered ang other area and nga fresh milk and other. Ang binalbagan is actually ever since fresh gid siya from the National Dairy Authority. Remember sa aton nga guidelines, nandoon yung sinasabi na uunahin talaga ang aton nga mga supplier nga capable maghatag sang fresh milk. Third na lang gid na iyaya ang aton nga na third choice kumbaga ang powdered milk after we exerted all our effort na matagaan tanan sang fresh. So sana nga gusto lang natin tanan powdered na lang para kahapos, di ba? But then sorry gid, but the law says we need to prioritize those fresh milk na kayang ihatag sang supplier. Amo na siya, Miss Free.
Malapit naman pala sa
Ah,
sa
oh,
tenant, no?
okay, Miss Kat,
Compared sa
noted.
Binalbanga.
Thank you, Miss Kat.
Kaya mo na siya. So, if your district will be asking, why nga nag-powder sila, ya kami, ya hindi, kay ginbayaan kita sang PCC. Amo na siya. So, bali, ang PCC nag-withdraw. Which actually, kung imo siya tanawon, 2019 nang gid na sila nag-withdraw. Pagka 2020, all of us will be returning to fresh milk. Okay? So, eto lang ang nagkaiba, which around 14,299 beneficiary nga supposedly nga iya sang PCC ang nag-powdered milk. But then again, next year or after your 20 days implementation of the feeding program, everybody would still be having a fresh milk. So wala tayong kawala. Fresh milk pa rin tayo lahat in 2020 na supply. Okay? So eto lang, 20 days lang for the powdered milk for those area that belongs to the PCC. Okay? So I'll be presenting to you our checklist para mag-guide kita kung ano ang aton nga himuon, kag ano ang aton nga ipang-prepare sa pag-implement sa aton nga milk feeding. Ayan. Sige. I am sharing a checklist. So we already sent out, actually diba may WINS monitoring tool tayo, and then some of the checklist na kung ano dapat mayroon in some of these places, especially sa entrance, sa exit, and doon sa ating distribution area, at ito ang mga checklist ang aton nga mga needed na basic safety equipment or supplies, right? So sana lahat ng ito ay nahimo, okay? And we are doing this ever, di ba? Since nagka-COVID. And it is being strengthened and polished pagit as the time goes on, especially ang aton nga mga 3-star schools, ayan, di ba? Magagaling yan and everything is provided naman nila. So to those schools na need some other pan assistance, which we will be having our monitoring, right? No? Sa mga WINS naton na mga validators, we do hope na makahatag pagkikita sa support and assistance sa ating mga schools para ma-prepare sila para sa safety sa ating implementation sa SBFP. Okay? So we also need to talk with our district property custodian to make sure nga nakaplot na ang iya nga delivery schedule and time of pick up per school. So example, if may ara kita sang schedule which I presented to you kanina, kung Monday siya and Wednesday siya, what time dapat ara ang mga school property custodian para mag-pick up sang ilang nga mga boxes. 7 o'clock to 7:30 is the call time sang supplier nga mag-abot. So we need to have some coordination with our local government unit if may ara bala sila sang other protocol nga ano sa aton nga mga manog-deliver. So there will be 2 trucks that will be moving around in distributing our fresh milk. Our powdered milk will also be the same, and I have talked with the supplier kanina na itatry nila na mapacking man nila before January 11 para at least madungan man siya sa aton nga fresh milk delivery. So we have 2 different supplier for this, okay? So inform pa na lang nataan atong mga property custodian para at least may map siya. He should also have his own mapping kay importante ni siya para sa delivery receipts. Delivery receipt must be provided by the district property custodians. May ara kita sample sa aton nga memorando, sa DepEd order natin, may mga delivery receipts na dara siya. And amo na siya ang aton nga magiging template para sulatan kung pila ang dapat nga ma-receive sa kada school. So district-wide ni siya, himuon sang district property custodian, and that must be done every delivery. There should also be an inspection and acceptance report. So this one, ang aton nga mga property custodians, in exchange for the DR, dapat may inspection and acceptance man kita because these were our number of packs na may mga buslot or need to be replaced, ma-reflect na siya diri. Okay? So, ang aton yung mga members of the inspection team must be there with one authorized consignee. Kung hindi na sila kompleto, hindi na siya mapirmahan. Kaya once na masign na siya, it's good as no na wala sang problem ang aton nga gatas. So dapat ang inspection team natin had a very keen eye kung kinahanglan ba nga batunon or hindi. So every delivery, each box will have a sample. Isa. Isa. Okay? So para may ara siya kay per batch na siya ang paghimo nila. So ang ilang nga sample for tasting and everything is dira man na siya nakuha nga sample. Okay? So we should also have the checklist of proper and safe handling of milk at the drop-off. If you could still remember, I have given this to you during our orientation last September 17. So tingnan natin yun, and most probably I need to put that in one page para at least may ara kita sang copy. So we also need to have in RIS for the freezer, again, yung ating gin-discuss kay Gina. We also need to have an RIS for the sandu bag, for the cooler per school, which is one per school and some have two. Then the RIS for the mega boxes for per schools, that's 3 per school. So dapat lahat yan may ara kita dira sa RIS sina. Okay? Then the list of consignees with signature for load allowance per school. So if you still remember our finance the last time, paano ba mag reimburse ng ating load allowance. So, before, pwede sana natin ihatag, but then it was purchased by the division office. So, the cell card based on your net worth was already given to the property, and the cell card will be given anytime soon. So we need to have that list sana before we distribute that for liquidation purposes. So, dapat amat-amaton tanan na para mahatag na sa mga district ang ilang load allowance. Then, we also need the supporting document for the travel, hauling, distribution cost for reimbursement, and that is in reference to the fare matrix of the finance. So, lahat ng mga school head, mahatag na sa travel order or authority to travel for their property custodian, and then the property custodian should be keeping all of those sa iyaman niya mga documents para ma-reimburse niya ang iya niya expenses. Because kung wala na siya, then maluoy man sa aton yung property custodian. Right? Okay. So, pa-remind para hindi siya malipatan. So, we made this checklist para at least you will be guided more. So, for the powdered milk, for those districts na will be receiving the powdered milk, then again, we will be needing an RIS for the powdered milk per school. With summary lang siya, ha? So, RIS sa tanan, and then sa babaw may summary siya sa tanan nga nakakuha with signature sa parents or guardian. Same with the bottled water with summary form lang siya. So, this is in the drop-off pa lang na siya, ha? So, we are only talking all about the drop-off or the central school, where we are going to drop all our logistics and other items. When in terms of reporting forms, so the district property custodian and the nurse in charge should be dealing with this with our district nutrition coordinators. So the form 7A, are you familiar? Yes, ara na da siya sa form 1 to 8. Ang iyang cell name is form 7A. That is the summary of milk delivery per school. That should be in hard copy. Attach yung ating delivery receipts and inspection and acceptance report form. So, kailangan naka-intact ni siya. So, every time that we have a delivery, this should be complete. Kasi pag hindi yan kumpleto, hindi tayo makaka-liquidate. And pag hindi tayo naka-liquidate, then hindi kita maka-proceed with our 2020 implementation. So, please review that one. Na-forward man na ni Ms. Luisa ang form 1 to 8 naton. Pangitaan nyo lang na siya, para lang na siya. Okay? Then the form 8 is the monthly or quarterly reporting. So this will be done in every end of the feeding. So on the first batch, that would be finished by the third week of January. Then we will be having one quarterly meeting with that, which is progress reporting. Then after the 20 days of the second batch, we will also have another progress reporting para hindi kita samok sa aton nga report. So same with what are the process na ginahimo sa national. So we will be having a what we call this one oral reporting, and then I'll be encoding all your data based sa nagakatabo na sa inyong delivery and feeding. Okay? So i-practice na siya naton para ma-review naton ang aton mga data from time to time. Then the consolidated form of the soft copy of Form 1 to 7, please coordinate with our district nutrition coordinators to have all of this in consolidated form. So district po ito ha. So Form 1 is the master list of your beneficiaries. So prior to feeding, dapat naamat-amata na siya. So our target is again January 11. So dapat before that date, tapos na po ang ating Form 1. Form 2 natin, meron na nga tayo nito, no? But still, dapat po naka-intact yan lahat kasi per school ang need natin. Okay? Then, your summary or beneficiary per grade, again, prior to feeding, may Form 3 na rin tayo. Your consignee form, and then your classification of Benny in terms of meat intolerance should also be intact na. So, there are only 2 forms. Okay? Dalawa lang yun ka forms ang magamit sa aton nga mga school until nga mag-end ang aton nga feeding program. And that is the Form 4, which is your records of daily feeding. Kung makita ta ang Form 4 na himuon abi sa nutritious food pack, the question there is, are we going to have the same form for the milk and for the NFP? If you can look, kung mabusisi ka mo, no, tanawon nyo pala ang Form 4 naton, may ara na da siya nga may milk or without milk, di ba? Hot meals na da ang nabutang H and then may M. So kung both niya na receive, then she should have an H and an M. Pero kung M lang siya, then milk na na-receive niya. Tama ba? So the fourth form can be done, isa lang siya para hindi na siya mabudlayan. Kung gusto ninyo, pwede mo na siya nga ang Form 4 sang milk, iunahon ninyo to sa babaw ang milk, tapos sundo naman ang ano na. But then if you're going to ma-identify mo siya, remember ka-jutay lang sa aton nga beneficiary for the milk. So ma-identify mo gina siya kung diin, ano na siya nga number, ang ina nga bata as your beneficiary. So sa imo nga pag, how do you call this one? Pag-check, then you butangan na da siya sa duwa category that she had received both of the items. Okay? So himuon taman na siya online. So all of this will be updated via Google Sheet. Okay? Kaya hindi ta makita during our monitoring ang tanan nga ni. So lahat po ay i-update natin every feeding. And pagdating dun sa Form 7, yan din ang matitira because yan ay ang mga milk deliveries as to when is the start and the end. So from the first delivery until the 8th delivery, so dapat kompleto iyan. So that's why magkakaroon tayo na monthly progress reporting or right after all of the batch had finished their feeding. Okay? So, yung ating mga district nutrition coordinator with a nurse in charge, so please work with this. Hopefully, mag-guide ka mo sa hini nga checklist. If you have some other suggestion, nga pwede nyo pa madugang, please do so. Okay? Para ma-enhance pagid naton. So, in here, I also put the issues and concern. Then, your recommendation. So, ito yun. Issues and concern, kung ano yung nakita natin being the drop-off area. This is the template for the drop-off. So, ano ba yung mangyayari? Ano ba ang nakikita nyo na magiging problema or na concern ninyo during the delivery, stocking of the styro boxes, or the pick-up time of the schools? So, lagay natin dyan kung ano magiging problema. Then, your recommendation, of course. So, with your issues, ano yung pwede mong i-recommend na magiging solution naman doon? Okay? So, ikaw mangita sa iyong mga issue na ikaw mahatag sa iyong mga recommendations. Just to have your feedback, no? Para makbalan ta kung ano-ano nakatabo sa aton nga mga drop-off area. So, kung matanaw ta with our practices before with the SBFP, ito yung laging paulit-ulit nga copy-pasted lang gid that we cannot find concerns, issues na very sana ay ma-pinpoint ng teachers, no? But hindi eh. Lagi siya nami-miss out. So sana you think it over at i-update niyo siya kung ano yung mga concerns ninyo kasi hindi siya nakakarating sa national or even into the division level ipag hindi tayo naging open sa mga problema sa aton nga implementation. Okay? So sana you take time to write on those issues and recommendations. And I have suggested here for your best practices na sana if you can coordinate with your local government unit, you try to present to them our program para at least mabalaan nila nga we are having still a feeding program for our beneficiaries sa ilang mga municipalities. And what ba? Ano ba ang pwede nilang ma-help para maka-augment man sila sa aton nga programa? So, Dr. Viderosa even talk about Talisay with Sir JF the last time na the local government have been very supportive with this program and naga-ready na ang local government sa Talisay nga mag-help augment sa assistance nila sa pag-deliver sa mga commodity naton sa mga kabataan. And of course, we also need to know the protocols of our municipalities with regards to, of course, our COVID, di ba? So, basic may mga requirement ang atong municipality. It's a way also of talking to them. So, that's in the drop-off. So, kumusta naman pagdating sa school? So, ano naman ang gagawin ng school? So, this is our guide naman. After natin nga na-settle ang ating nga district, then ano naman ba ang dapat natin nga ihambal sa aton naman nga mga school implementers? Diba? Right after na makuha nila ang ilang nga mga delivered goods, dalhin na sa kanilang schools, then again, still, orientation is very much needed. And dapat ang aton nga safety protocol should be in place in each of those schools, right? Next, the checklist of proper and safe handling of milk at school. So, iba yung protocol doon sa drop-off at iba din yung protocol sa school. Di ba? Once already received by the school, getting ready for distribution. So, your school property custodian should take charge for this and the school feeding teacher. And never forget the consent form from the parents. That's your milk form number 9. Huwag pong kakalimutan, dapat naka-intact yan sa ating school feeding teacher prior to distribution. Then next, your schedule for parent pick-up time per grade. Si teacher ba is very well informed kung saan ang panghatagay sa gatas. Anong oras ang grade 1? Anong oras ang grade 3? Diba? So, dapat may ara na kita sa guided timeline for each of our grade per section, per school, nga makita sa nanay para pag-abot sa delivery, hindi na sila magsala-sala. Or they already had foreseen na, ay, sa amo ni nga adlaw, makatuko amo na nga oras, kay amo na ang akon nga time sa pag-pick up. Remember, ang our guidelines is dapat there are only 5 per how many minutes ba, no? Nga magkuha. So, hindi siya dapat damo nga nanay ang magpila, but at least 5 at a time. Okay? So, if you could also have that leaflets, we have that, the one that the cluster 4 made one, di ba? Ang ganda nun. So, the region has also used that for other divisions. Yung ating reminders for parents kung paano ba magpainom sang gatas, no, for consumption sa balay. So, it's a guided leaflet. And I'm sure yung iba nakapagparaiso or nakapanagtag na with this. So I do hope na simulan na natin yan together with the consent. Kay without those, hindi kita makahimo sang aton nga form. Ano nga form yon? For our beneficiary for classification of our Benny for milk intolerance. So pag wala yan, hindi tayo makakatapos, kawawa naman si District Nutrition Coordinator sa pag-consolidate ng ating reports. Ayan. So we also need to have a basic personal protective supply for school personnel during milk distribution. So nakita natin before with some of those videos shared by different divisions. So ito yung medyo siguro kung kita na, then most probably we could enhance more kung paano ba mag-wear properly. Kung ano bang dapat ng mga equipment, gloves natin, mask natin, ano ba dapat ang aton niya gawin when we distribute or give those milk packs sa atong mga nanay. Okay? So, sana mas better than the others, di ba? O yung iba, nakita nila, si teacher, hindi man lang siya gloves or si teacher, pati kamot, how us dito sa eyes. So, you will try to minimize ang risk natin of contamination. So, if you have more ideas on how to do this, the more that we could avoid some dangers sa atong pag-implement. Okay? So we also need again for the school property naman natin yung nagakuha, kag nagadulong or whatever man ang iya mga expenses, she should also be reminded to make sure na may ara lang din siya, dirasang support niya para maka-claim siya later on for his travel and hauling cost reimbursement. So that should be done every delivery and distribution. Then we should also have a distribution list with signature of parent per number of powdered milk received per grade. So this is also one time sa atin pong powdered milk natin. One time lang po ito. Ay, dapat dito yun siya. I'm supposed to take this off kasi nandito siya sa baba. Ayan. So the distribution list with signature of parent per number of powdered milk received per grade. This will be done by our grade level advisor. Kasi grade level advisor, mas kilala niya si nanay. Or it depends on how the distribution scheme will be done. It is only one time lang ang paghatag sa aton niya, powdered milk, and the leaflets on how to prepare the powdered milk. If we can innovate or make some leaflets, diba? Graphics, paano ba? Ilan? Isang baso? 240 ml, isang pack, ganyan. We can illustrate para mas maintindihan sa nanay. So it's a part of an innovation for us in the district also. So the reporting forms will be done in soft and in hard copy. Again, the master list of the Benny should be done prior to distribution. Your school directory prior to the distribution again. Then the summary, so form 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6 will be done prior to except for Form 4 and Form 7. So which means, pag tayo ay nagsimula na ng feeding program, tapos na lahat ang ating Form 1, Form 2, Form 3, Form 5, Form 6. So yung forms na ating i-update na lang is actually Form 4 and Form 7. Okay? So if na-preparahan ta ni maayo, the implementation will just go smoothly. Hindi na tayo yung nag-record ka na sa daily feeding, himo ka pa sa imong master list. So, na-full na siya. So, prioritize, make a plan, na ma-prepare na siya lahat bago pa man tayo mag-distribute sa aton niya milk commodity. Okay? So, again, what are the issues and concerns that we encounter in the school distribution. Okay? So, doon din tayo, mag-focus tayo, ano magiging problema na sa school. Anong recommendation natin. Then, you could also have, again, a good practice through partnership with the stakeholders to the barangay for coordination for the delivery schedule. And they will be very happy also to know that these learners, that this school, have this program through information dissemination. Okay? And basi matap-tap naman dira sila, si barangay, ang aton nga mga kagawa dira for assistance on how to distribute this commodity to the household. So base yung mga scheme naton before of ano ni siya gani, distributing our module, pwede naman siya magamit or much better if there are assistance from the local government or from the barangay. So try to look into kung saan ba sila makakapasok. Okay? Para at least hindi namang ta magudlayan or ang eskwelahan magudlayan for it. So again, school can have some innovation, some research on this, then we will see. Okay? And pagdating sa bahay, ano ba ang dapat natin ipa-remind kay nanay? Ayan. So, natapos natin yung sa drop-off. Diba? So, sa District Nutrition Coordinator nandun at saka si nurse in charge. So, pagdating sa school, si school head, si school feeding coordinator, and si school property custodian. And pagdating sa household, nabigay na sa nanay. Si nanay, ano man dapat niya isaalang-alang or i-think about when he is assisting his kid para mag-inom ng gatas. Okay? And again, base may madumduman, baka mo please help me out para at least ma-guide or ma-enhance nato ng aton yung checklist. Okay? So, consent should have been submitted to the school. Si nanay, hindi pagtagaan ko, wala consent. Alin sa iya nga ginapainom nga painumon ang bata gatas. Okay? And if we could have this policy to please nanay, hindi magdala ng plastic, we can use the sando bag, the eco bag, para at least maano naman tayo, environment friendly tayo. Kag mas hindi siya dali-dali bala maano ang aton nga gatas. Or ma-wrap ta siya sa, how do you call this one, papel or what, ganyan. Basta friendly lang tayo, not much of the plastic. E bakit wala na mo plastic, dalpon, tabalahaw, tikaluoy, masang aton environment. I'm really a pro-environment. Ganun. So, no plastic policy if possible. Okay? Then, yung kanyang bahay ba, water, may soap, wala, ayan, mayroon tayong jutay ng alcohol, but not all. But we do hope na ma-practice din sang nanay, ang iyang bata, ang hand washing techniques natin, and yung proper handling ng ating milk. So, you should have, or the mother should be given also, the checklist of the proper and safe handling of milk at home. Diba? Meron tayo niyan. So, dapat si nanay may kopya niyan and naiintindihan niya kung paano at ano ang gagawin niya when magpapainom na siya sa bata. Hindi man naton makita kung painumo niya na tanan ang bata niya or isa-isa or we don't know. Basta nahatag ta ang gatas sa nanay and napirmahan ni nanay nga na-receive niya ang gatas. Okay? And as much as possible, the nanay should have a contact number of advisor for query and some feedback during feeding. Di ba? Importante din yan. Kasi if ang bata ay magkaroon ng adverse effect, walang number si nanay, o di sino yung istorya ko, ako sa piyak balay, na. O diba? Try to check on that. And then the schedule of feeding ni nanay. So, ayan, sinasabi natin kanina, pag binigyan si nanay ng 3 pack, anong gagawin niya? Paubos siya sa bata. O, ayan. So, dapat at least bigyan si nanay ng schedule na nanay, o eto ha, ito sa Monday, ito sa Tuesday, ito sa Wednesday. Ay nako, wala kami suludlanan para magtago sina hasta 3 adlaw. So we can advise the nanay to have some container na pwede niya butangan sang ice to keep it cool. But then kung wala na, syempre, ano di bang gagawin natin? Choose the lesser evil. Inumin para hindi mapanos. Ayan. Then the schedule of pick up in school. So the nanay should also be well informed kung saan ko siya makadto kag mabalik para magkuha sang iya nga commodity. Okay? Ang iya nga supply. So, at least with this, magbuwa ni siya through interview later on. So, if ako mag-ask sa nanay, these are my guide para to check on it kung si nanay ba is well informed, may idea siya, anong himuon niya, kag may maihibalogid siya parte sa aton niya feeding program. Ayan. So, pwede din natin siyang tanungin with his issues and concern, ano ba ang problema ni nanay, Tag ano ba ang ma-recommend ni nanay? Because the parents could also have some ideas how to make our program better. If we can read between the lines all of those, it is helpful for us nga makaget man sang ilang nga mga feedback. So at least with that, ma-consolidate naton, and then for the next feeding program natin, at least we will be able to enhance pagit ang aton yung procedure. And then best practice, this is one way of recycling, di ba? If you can see the pouches, kadamo gid sina later on nga ano ni nanay, niya na nga matipon. So what could a household do with that? Ginahaboy lang bala nila? Or anong ginahimo nila with that? Ang iban ginahimo na nila nga butangan nila sang soil, ginahimo nila na siya for gardening. So it's up to you to check on it kung paano kag-ano nila ang mga waste naton sa feeding program. But I do hope wala tayong mga wastage on it. So yung mga tanay na panghatag natin sa ila will be used properly for environment safety man ito. Okay? I guess everything has been tackled, and why naman siguro sa may nalipatan. Nakatag ko naman tanan ang inyong number sa supplier. Ayan. We'll be saying thank you na and goodbye na.
Thank you very much for actively listening to our school heads, our district and school nutrition coordinators, our district and school property custodians, and our school feeding teachers. Thank you very much. We would like to acknowledge our speakers, Nurse Katay Machan of Pontevedra 1, Nurse Joy Marie Arroyo of Pontevedra 2, and our division milk feeding focal, Nurse Catrice Sabrini. Once again, thank you very much. God bless us all, and have a happy new year.